3 days before my second wedding anniversary, my neighbor called me and said, "I was reviewing my Ring doorbell footage. You need to come over right now. Don't bring your husband." And Maya, prepare yourself. What I'm about to show you will break your heart. Welcome to Black Queen's Vengeance. Before we dive in, drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. We love hearing from our global family. Now, let me share this story with you. I remember that morning so clearly. I had just finished a 12-hour night shift at Mercy General Hospital, where I worked as an ICU nurse. My feet were killing me, my scrubs smelled like antiseptic, and all I wanted was to crawl into bed next to my husband and sleep until noon. I pulled into our driveway in Riverside, a quiet suburb outside Atlanta. The house was a cute 3-bedroom colonial that my grandmother left me when she passed 4 years ago. Grandma Rosie had worked as a school cafeteria manager for 35 years, saving every penny. She bought this house in the early 90s when the neighborhood was still developing. By the time she died, it was worth 4 times what she paid. "Keep this house, baby girl," she told me from her hospital bed. "Don't ever sell it. Don't put no man's name on it. This is your security." I promised her I wouldn't. My husband Marcus's car wasn't in the driveway, which meant he'd already left for work. He was a real estate agent at Century Homes, always showing properties, always on the phone with clients. We met 2 years ago at a mutual friend's barbecue. He walked up to me with that confident smile, handed me a drink, and said, "I've been trying to work up the courage to talk to you all afternoon." I laughed. "You? Nervous? You look like the type who's never nervous about anything. Only around beautiful women," he said. Corny? Yes, but it worked. We exchanged numbers, went on our first date that Friday, and by Christmas, he was down on one knee in my grandmother's living room. Well, my living room now. "I don't have much," he said, holding up a modest ring. "I'm still building my career. But I promise to love you, protect you, and give you everything I have. Will you marry me?" I said yes without hesitation. We got married 6 months later. Small ceremony at the courthouse, reception at a restaurant downtown. My parents flew in from Houston, his mother came from Savannah. It was simple, but perfect. Marcus moved into my house right after the wedding. He was renting a cramped apartment on the other side of town, paying almost $1,500 a month. It made sense for him to move in with me. No mortgage, no rent. We could save money, build our future together. "This house is amazing," he said on his first night. "You're so lucky your grandmother left it to you." "I know. She worked her whole life for this. We should refinance it. Pull out some equity, invest in some properties. I know the market. We could flip houses, double our money." I shook my head. "I promised Grandma I wouldn't touch this house. It stays in my name, paid off, no loans." He looked disappointed but didn't push. "Okay, baby. Whatever you want." That should have been my first red flag. The morning Mrs. Patterson called. I had just walked through the front door. I dropped my bag on the couch, kicked off my shoes, and was about to head to the bedroom when my phone buzzed. Mrs. Patterson was my next-door neighbor, a retired postal worker in her 60s who lived alone with her 2 cats. She was the type who knew everything happening on the street. Nothing escaped her notice. "Maya, honey, can you come over?" "Right now? Mrs. Patterson? Is everything okay? Did something happen?" "Just come. And Maya." She paused. "Don't bring Marcus. This is important." My stomach dropped. The tone of her voice was serious, almost grave. I'd never heard her sound like that before. "I'll be right there." I didn't even change out of my scrubs. I walked across the lawn to her house and knocked. She opened the door immediately, like she'd been waiting right behind it. "Come in, baby. Sit down." Her living room was cozy, filled with photos of her late husband and grandchildren. She guided me to the couch, sat next to me, and took my hands. "Maya, you know I've always looked out for you. Ever since you moved in after your grandmother passed, I've thought of you like my own daughter." "I know, Mrs. Patterson. You've always been good to me. That's why I have to show you this. I've been going back and forth for 2 days, wondering if I should say something. But I can't stay silent. You deserve to know." She picked up her iPad from the coffee table. Her Ring doorbell camera app was already open. I was reviewing my footage because someone's been stealing packages in the neighborhood. I was checking to see if I caught anything. That's when I found this. She pressed play. The footage showed her front porch, but the angle also captured part of my driveway and front door. The timestamp said Tuesday, 2:47 p.m. I was at work. Marcus should have been at work too. On the screen, a car pulled into my driveway. Not Marcus's car, a silver Honda Accord. A woman got out. I recognized her immediately. Destiny. My cousin. We grew up together in Houston, practically sisters. She moved to Atlanta 3 years ago for a marketing job. When Marcus and I got married, she was my maid of honor. She stood right next to me, held my bouquet, cried during our vows. On the footage, Destiny walked to my front door. It opened. Marcus appeared. He was wearing sweatpants and a tank top, clearly not dressed for work. He looked both ways down the street, then pulled her inside. "Keep watching," Mrs. Patterson said quietly. The footage jumped to 5:32 p.m. Almost 3 hours later, my front door opened. Destiny came out first, fixing her hair, smoothing her dress. Marcus followed. He grabbed her waist, pulled her close, and kissed her. Not a quick peck. A long, deep kiss. The kind you give someone you've been intimate with. Then he smacked her on the behind and whispered something in her ear. She laughed, got in her car, and drove away. I couldn't breathe. "There's more," Mrs. Patterson said. "I checked other days. This has been happening at least twice a week for the past 3 months. Always when you're at work. Different times, same routine." She showed me more clips. Tuesday afternoon, Thursday morning, Sunday while I was doing a double shift. Over and over, Destiny's car in my driveway, her walking into my house, her leaving hours later with that satisfied smile. "But that's not the worst part," Mrs. Patterson said. She swiped to a different video. "This one has audio. My ring picked it up because they were standing right by the property line." She pressed play. Destiny and Marcus stood by her car. They didn't know they were being recorded. "When are you going to tell her?" Destiny asked. "Soon. I'm working on her. She's stubborn about that house, but I'll convince her." "You've been saying that for months. I'm tired of sneaking around. Baby, trust me. Once I get her to add my name to the deed, we're set. This house is worth at least $450, maybe more in this market. We sell it, split the money, and start fresh somewhere else. Miami, maybe. You always wanted to live in Florida." Destiny crossed her arms. "And what about Maya?" Marcus laughed. It was a cold, cruel sound I'd never heard before. "What about her? She's a nurse. She works 60 hours a week and comes home too tired to notice anything. The woman is so trusting, it's almost sad. I've been playing her since day one." "Since day one? You think I fell for her at that barbecue?" "Please. I did my research. Found out she owned a paid-off house in a nice neighborhood. No debt, stable job, no family drama. Perfect target. I watched myself crumble in Mrs. Patterson's living room. Tears streamed down my face, but I couldn't look away. That's cold, Marcus. That's smart. You know how hard it is out here? Real estate barely pays the bills. I haven't closed a deal in 4 months. But this house? This is our ticket. We sell it, pocket the cash, disappear. Maya will be fine. She can stay with her parents or whatever. And she won't suspect anything? Nah. She thinks we're happily married. I even planted the idea of having kids soon. She was so happy she almost cried. "Kids," he scoffed. "Can you imagine? Me tied down with that boring woman and some babies? No, thank you. You're the one I want, Destiny. Always have been." Destiny smiled. "You better mean that." "I do. Just give me a few more weeks. I'll get her to sign those papers." They kissed again, and Destiny got in her car and drove away. The video ended. Mrs. Patterson turned off the iPad. "I'm so sorry, baby. I didn't want to believe it either, but you needed to know." I sat there, frozen. Everything I thought I knew about my life was a lie. My husband didn't love me. He never loved me. Our entire relationship was a scheme to steal my grandmother's house. And my cousin, my own blood, was his partner in this betrayal. "What are you going to do?" Mrs. Patterson asked gently. I wiped my eyes, took a deep breath. Something shifted inside me. The shock was fading, replaced by something harder, colder. "Can you send me all of these videos?" "Of course. Every single one. I need them." She nodded, already typing on her iPad, sending them now. My phone buzzed with incoming files. I saved each one. Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. You saved my life. What are you planning, Maya? I stood up, clutched my phone. Justice. I walked back to my house with a calm I didn't know I possessed. Marcus wasn't home. Good. I needed time to think. I sat at the kitchen table, watching the videos over and over. Each time, my rage grew colder, more focused. They thought I was naive. A boring nurse too tired to notice her own husband cheating. A gullible fool who would sign over her grandmother's house because a handsome man asked nicely. They were wrong. Our second wedding anniversary was in 3 days. Marcus had been planning a party, invited friends, family, colleagues, said he wanted to celebrate 2 years of marriage and announced that we were trying for a baby. Now I knew why. He wanted witnesses when he asked me to add his name to the deed. Maybe he'd frame it as an anniversary gift. Let's make this house officially ours. People would think it was romantic. I'd feel pressured to agree in front of everyone. Clever. Disgusting, but clever. I picked up my phone and called my mother. Hey baby, how's my favorite daughter? Mama, I need you and Daddy to fly out here. Tomorrow, if possible. Tomorrow? What's wrong? You sound upset. I'll explain everything when you get here. Please, Mama. It's important. She didn't ask more questions. We'll be on the next flight. Next, I called my best friend Keisha. We'd been friends since nursing school, thick as thieves. She was the only one I truly trusted. Kay, can you come over tonight? And don't tell anyone you're coming. Maya? You're scaring me. What's going on? I'll show you when you get here. Just come. By evening, Keisha was sitting on my couch, watching the same videos I'd seen that morning. Her face went through every emotion: shock, disbelief, rage. I'm going to kill them both, she said when the last video ended. No, we're going to do something better. What? The anniversary party is in 3 days. Marcus invited 50 people, his mother, his co-workers, our friends, Destiny. Keisha's eyes widened. You're not thinking. I'm thinking exactly that. I'm going to play the perfect wife for 3 more days. Then I'm going to show everyone exactly who Marcus and Destiny really are. A slow smile spread across Keisha's face. Girl, I'm in. What do you need? We spent the next hour planning. I'd rent a projector, say it was for a photo slideshow, load all the videos onto a flash drive, wait until everyone was settled, eating, drinking. Then I'd make a toast and let the truth speak for itself. The next 2 days were the hardest of my life. I smiled at Marcus over breakfast, kissed him goodbye when he left for work, lay next to him at night while he scrolled through his phone, probably texting Destiny. On Thursday, my parents arrived. I picked them up from the airport, brought them to Mrs. Patterson's house first. I couldn't risk Marcus overhearing. My mother watched the videos in silence. My father's jaw tightened with every passing minute. That boy played you, Daddy said when it was over. He played all of us. I welcomed him into our family. I know, Daddy. What do you want to do, baby girl? I want to expose him. Publicly, at the party. My parents exchanged a look. Then Mama nodded. Then that's what we'll do, but we're standing right beside you when it happens. Saturday came, the day of my anniversary party. I put on a beautiful green dress, did my makeup, curled my hair. When I looked in the mirror, I saw a woman who looked happy, radiant even. No one would guess what was about to happen. Marcus came up behind me, wrapped his arms around my waist. You look incredible, baby. 2 years married to the most beautiful woman in Atlanta. I smiled at him through the mirror. I can't wait for tonight. Me neither. I have a special announcement planned. I bet you do, I thought. We arrived at the venue, a nice restaurant downtown that Marcus had booked. Tables were set up, decorations hung. A large screen stood at the front, supposedly for our photo slideshow. Guests started arriving. Marcus's mother, a sweet woman named Gloria who always treated me kindly, his colleagues from the real estate office, our mutual friends. Then Destiny walked in. She wore a tight red dress, hair flowing over her shoulders. She hugged me, kissed my cheek. Happy anniversary, cousin. You two are such goals. Thanks, Destiny. I'm so glad you could make it. I felt nothing. No anger, no pain, just cold resolve. By 7 o'clock, everyone was seated. Food was served, drinks poured. Marcus stood up, tapping his glass. Everyone, Thank you for coming to celebrate our second anniversary. Maya is the best thing that ever happened to me. I wake up every day grateful that she's my wife." The guests awed. His mother dabbed her eyes. "Actually," Marcus continued, "before we eat, I want to share something special. Maya, come up here." I joined him at the front of the room. He took my hands. "Baby, these past 2 years have been amazing, and I want us to take the next step. I think it's time we start building generational wealth. Together. So tonight, in front of everyone we love, I want to ask you something." Here it comes, I thought. "Will you add my name to the deed of our house? Let's make it officially ours." The crowd murmured approval. Someone shouted, "That's real love right there." I looked at Marcus's expectant face, at Destiny smirking in the back, at all the people watching, thinking they were witnessing something beautiful. "Actually," I said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "before I answer, I have something to share too." Marcus's smile faltered slightly. "What is it, baby?" I put together a slideshow. Pictures and videos from our relationship. I think everyone should see it. "That's sweet, but we can do that later. Let's just—" "No. I think we should watch it now." I nodded at Keisha, who was standing by the projector. She pressed play. The first image was a wedding photo. People smiled. Then it cut to Mrs. Patterson's Ring doorbell footage. Destiny's car pulling into my driveway. Marcus opening the door in his sweatpants, pulling her inside. The room went silent. The next clip, 3 hours later, Destiny leaving, Marcus kissing her at the door. Gasps erupted. Someone dropped a glass. Marcus lunged for the projector. "Turn that off! What is this?" My father and Keisha blocked him. "You're going to watch this," Daddy said, just like everyone else. The audio clip started playing. "When are you going to tell her?" "Soon. I'm working on her. She's stubborn about that house, but I'll convince her." Marcus's voice filled the room. Everyone heard him call me boring, trusting, a perfect target. Everyone heard him laugh about playing me since day one, about selling my grandmother's house and running off with my cousin. Gloria, his mother, stood up slowly. Her face was pale, hands shaking. "Marcus? What is this? Tell me this isn't real." He couldn't speak. His mouth opened and closed like a fish. "Tell me this isn't real!" she screamed. Destiny tried to sneak toward the exit. One of my coworkers, a large woman named Brenda, blocked the door. "Where do you think you're going, sweetheart?" "This is ridiculous," Destiny stammered. "This is all fake. Maya manipulated these videos." "Really?" Keisha walked up to her. "Then why is your face on all of them? Why is your voice on the audio? You want to explain that?" The crowd turned on her. People she'd met at my wedding, who danced at my reception, were looking at her like she was garbage. "You slept with her husband," someone said. "Your own cousin's husband." "In her grandmother's house," another added, while planning to steal it from her. Destiny's confident facade crumbled. She looked around for support, found none. Even Marcus wouldn't meet her eyes. He was too busy being confronted by his mother. "I raised you better than this," Gloria said, tears streaming down her face. "I worked 2 jobs to put you through college. I taught you to be a man of integrity. And this is who you are? A con artist? A liar?" "Mama, please. Let me explain." "Explain what? That you married this girl for her house? That you've been cheating with her cousin for months? That you never loved her?" She slapped him. The sound echoed through the silent room. "You are not my son," she said. "I don't know who you are, but my son would never do this." Marcus stumbled back, holding his cheek. For the first time since I'd met him, he looked small, pathetic. I walked to the center of the room, removed my wedding ring, and dropped it on the floor at his feet. "I'm filing for divorce on Monday. You have 24 hours to get your things out of my house. If you're not gone by then, I'm donating everything you own to Goodwill. Maya, please. We can talk about this. I made a mistake. A mistake is forgetting to take out the trash. What you did was calculated betrayal. You targeted me, pretended to love me, and planned to steal everything my grandmother worked her whole life for. That's not a mistake. That's evil." I turned to Destiny. "And you. My own blood. We grew up together. Our mothers are sisters. And you looked me in the eye at my wedding, held my bouquet, and smiled while you were sleeping with my husband. Destiny's lip trembled. Maya, don't. There's nothing you can say. You're dead to me, both of you. I walked toward the exit. My parents flanked me on either side. Keisha followed close behind. Maya, wait, Marcus called. You can't just leave. We're married. We have to work this out. I stopped at the door, turned around. We're not working out anything. You wanted my house so bad? Too bad. It's in my name, paid off, and it's staying that way. You're getting nothing in the divorce. No equity, no property, no claims. You came into this marriage with nothing, and that's exactly how you're leaving. I walked out into the night air. The divorce was finalized 2 months later. Marcus tried to fight it, tried to claim he'd contributed to the household. My lawyer shut him down with the prenup he'd signed without reading carefully and the video evidence of his fraud. He moved back in with his mother. Last I heard, she barely speaks to him. The real estate office let him go after the story spread. Apparently, clients don't want an agent who can't be trusted. Destiny's situation was worse. Her company found out about the scandal and fired her for conduct unbecoming. She moved back to Houston, but our family had already seen the videos. Aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone knew what she did. She's been disowned by half the family. As for me, life got better. It took time to heal. Some nights I still woke up angry, replaying those videos in my head. But slowly, the pain faded. I threw myself into my work, picked up extra shifts, started taking classes to become a nurse practitioner. 6 months after the divorce, I was sitting on Mrs. Patterson's porch, drinking sweet tea and watching the sunset. You know what's strange? I said. I'm almost grateful it happened. Mrs. Patterson raised an eyebrow. Grateful? For that mess? Not for the pain, but for what it taught me. Before Marcus, I was too trusting, too willing to see the best in people. I let him into my life without really knowing who he was. I ignored the red flags because I wanted to believe in love. And now? Now I know better. I trust my instincts. I protect what's mine. And I know that I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. Mrs. Patterson smiled, patted my hand. Your grandmother would be proud of you, Maya. You kept your promise. You kept the house. I looked at my home, glowing in the evening light. The house Grandma Rosie worked 35 years to buy. The house she entrusted to me with her dying breath. Yeah, I said. I did. Did you enjoy this story? Let me know in the comments which part hit you the hardest. And tell me where you're watching from. I love seeing our community spread across the world. If this story resonated with you, smash that like button and subscribe. There's plenty more where this came from. I'll see you in the next one.